If you take a calendar and look across the months, you find that there are special occasions that punctuate it month after month. Certainly, this place, Arlington National Cemetery, would find Memorial Day as the most important day of the year for this sacred space. Since just after the Civil War, this place has provided comfort to literally millions of people who come here to honor the fallen, those who have served our country. Comfort comes in many ways here, through the dignified ceremonies that occur on a daily basis here at Arlington, as well as the enduring nature of this place. And then there's nature itself, how beautifully these grounds are maintained. Tom Sherlock, the historian for Arlington National Cemetery, tells us about the history of this place and the origins of Memorial Day.
Well, Arlington Cemetery currently is 624 acres, just about a square mile, but when the Lees lived here, it was double that. It was just over 1,100 acres, so about 2 square miles, extended all the way to the river and back to what is now Fort Myer, Virginia, and the area where the Iwo Jima Memorial is.
So it was an actual working plantation?
It was a working plantation. They farmed the land, did all the things necessary to sustain themselves and to sell goods.
Now there's a direct link to Arlington to Mount Vernon, isn't there?
There is. George Washington Parke Custis, an adopted son of General Washington. His mother, Martha, of course, married General Washington, and he adopted 2 children.
Now, Washington died in 1799, and it wasn't long after that his stepson started this project.
Yes, in 1803, George Washington Parke Custis began construction of the home. It took many years to build, as construction usually did back then. Certainly just a beautiful sight in the entire city of Washington, D.C. Just about anywhere you are on the mall. You can turn around and look, to the west and see the home overlooking the town named after General Washington.
George Washington Parke Custis marries, and they have one daughter who in 1831 marries Robert E. Lee.
That began another whole connection of course, very storied families when you're joining now the Washington with the Lees. And these 2 families, not just socially, but militarily, were so important in the early formative years of our country.
Tom, how many of the fallen are interred here at Arlington?
At the present time, there are just over 330,000 former members of our military and their families buried here in the cemetery.
And it's an active, living place, if you will. I mean, it goes on every day.
We average about 30 funerals every day here. We're going to receive between 4.5 and 5 million visitors. And we're going to conduct literally thousands of commemorative events here. So although we have a long, storied past, we add to that past every day.
The landscape here is so sublimely beautiful at every turn, and it's cared for with such loving hands.
The beauty of Arlington is paramount in how we honor our dead, and you take care of precious things, and the care and the work that goes into keeping this place beautiful, I think is unparalleled in Washington, D.C.
I think all of the graves certainly here are important at Arlington, but one that really stands out in my mind is the internment or the Kennedy Memorial for John F. Kennedy.
Absolutely. Without a doubt, the burial of President John F. Kennedy here in 1963 changed not only our history, but how we're perceived throughout the world more than any other singular event here in Arlington.
The tomb, the interment place, is near what is called the Arlington Oak.
Yes, it is. In fact, the Arlington Oak is a very central figure to the gravesite itself. As you walk up, there's symmetrical walkways that surround the oak, and very majestic tree. We all affix certain aspects when we look at large trees. I know that I do, and a large oak like that is one of strength. It's one of endurance.
And persevered.
And persevered. And that oak there, I think is, a personification of our psyche as a country at that time.
It's no surprise that the Tomb of the Unknown is probably the largest monument on this property.
It is. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, of course, has come to represent all those who've died for our country. Not just those particular wars remembered here, but beyond that, all of them. And it's a place where someone can come and remember that sacrifice. And it's a place where someone can come and see their loved one honored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Of course, its design, its inscription, here rests in honor and glory, an American soldier known but to God. And that could speak to hundreds of thousands of people. It's on, looking onto the city of Washington, the beautiful flowers that come up in the spring and the summer, and the fact that we honor our lowest, or soldiers we don't even know who their rank are, with a vigil of every second speaks highly for how we view our military and how important it is to remember them.
It's truly inspiring.
A country can be judged on how it remembers its past, and certainly here at Arlington we honor that past, and we honor the past and service of the American men and women who served in our armed forces, and each and every day we're reminded of that. And each and every day we're given the honor, we're given the privilege of representing our nation and giving them their final farewell. People often ask me, is it depressing to work in a cemetery? No, it's not. This is a beautiful place. There's life here. You can feel it. It's the life of our country.